Hi, this is how a PX100 air rifle looks like out of the box. It looks really nice in the conventional rifle stock design provided by the company, but it's a little bit heavier and lengthier also. So we are trying to convert this rifle to a bullpup model, which is much lighter and shorter compared to the company made stock. The custom stock I have here is made out of wood and it feels really smooth compared to a fiber bed, and it's also designed ergonomically to fit into your hand very well, and it also feels very light compared to the fiber bed. Now let's get started with the modification process. First you have to take out these two screws beside the trigger guard to separate the company provided stock from the main body. Before we proceed any further, let's compare the company provided stock with that of a standard bullpup stock. You can clearly see the size difference here, and you can also feel a similar difference in weight when you hold both of the stock in your hand. Next, we have to remove all the accessories from the gun before we fit it into the new bullpup stock. This is the main operating unit of a PX100 PCP rifle. As you can see, the trigger comes towards the end of this unit. But for bullpup models, the trigger should ideally be placed somewhere around the center of the cylinder. So for that, we need a secondary trigger. And we need to link the two triggers using something called trigger linkage, which is basically a wire that is connecting the primary trigger and the new trigger. So the trigger is attached to a ring which will be passed through the cylinder, and it is permanently fixed at one place so that it does not move. And the two triggers will be connected through a linkage so that when we pull the new trigger, the gun gets fired. So the ring that holds the new trigger should pass through the cylinder, and for that we need to remove the clamp that is connecting barrel and the cylinder. Let's loosen these two screws first to take out the barrel. Gently twist and pull the barrel from its groove, and when it comes out, there is a rubber bush inside the U-clamp that is holding the barrel and cylinder. So you have to just pull it out, and then you can take out the barrel. You can see two sockets here on the barrel, which should be aligned with the stopper pins that sits on top of them. So when you put back the barrel, make sure that the pins and the sockets are aligned. You can completely remove the pins and look through the holes to make sure that those are aligned. Now we have to remove this clamp which connects the barrel and cylinder. For that, just take out that rubber cap covering the pressure gauge. Pressure gauge can be taken out using a spanner. When you start loosening the pressure gauge, the air will leak out, so give enough time for the cylinder to be empty, and after that you can take out the pressure gauge completely. So make sure that you empty the cylinder before you do this. Now we have to remove these three small screws that holds the clamp in its place. After removing them, we can take out the clamp. We don't have to remove the cylinder from the box. We just need to remove the clamp so that we can slide in the ring with the new trigger, and this ring should be positioned somewhere around the middle of cylinder so that the linkage can reach to the primary trigger and both will get connected nicely. This is how it should look like when done correctly. So now when we pull the new trigger, the primary trigger also get pulled. Once we connect the new trigger to the original one using linkage, we can put back everything, and now this is ready to be installed in the new stock. Now we have almost converted our PX100 to a bullpup model, The only thing that is left to do now is to put a screw in this hole to connect the stock with the operating unit. So we can use the screw that is coming with the custom stock, but this screw is a little bit short. But if we can find a longer screw, the stock and the main operating unit will be firmly connected and you won't be feeling any jerk while using the gun. So here I'm using another screw which is twice the size of the original one in length. Now the new bullpup stock and the main operating unit is firmly connected. We only need that one screw to be tightly fixed. After that we can put back all the accessories, starting with the suppressor and the scope. This is how the gun looks at this point, but we cannot add the scope yet because the scope mount is placed so far behind that it won't be possible for us to shoulder the gun and look through the scope. So we need a extension rail to push the scope a little bit towards the front so that we can both shoulder the rifle and look through the scope at the same time. We have added the extended rail. The only thing that is left now is to mount the scope over this. So this is standing very firmly. This extended rail can hold the weight of the scope effortlessly. You won't be feeling any sort of inaccuracy due to this extended rail. Now we are done with the modification. We have successfully converted the PX100 to a bullpup version. This is how it looks like in the end. Let me just show you how short and light the bullpup version is. This is how it looks in comparison with the company provided stock. It's not even the complete length of company provided stock, even including the silencer length. You can load and shoot a bullpup model in two ways. One method is to use your firing hand like this, and another method is to use the resting hand to load the gun like this and shoot. So the second method is the most preferred method, as you don't have to point the gun away from the target while you are loading. Please like and subscribe if you need more contents like this.